And we are in living color. What's up, folks? Welcome to our Friday Live brought to you by the Hood. This is our Friday show where we come and kick it with folks from our community, talk about some of our favorite stories from the week, just talk our ish a little bit. You know what I'm saying? My brother Corey's here. What's up, Corey?
What's the dealio, Emilio? Everything good?
Yeah, man, I can't complain. Ain't nobody listening, man. Life is good, man. Can't complain at all, man. How about yourself?
Man, life has always been good. As long as I'm alive, I ain't gonna complain about being alive.
I heard that. Yo, for the folks watching, I see people coming in now. Let me know who's here. Fred, newest member of the MDC strategy. What's really good, Fred? Congratulations, man, and thank you for joining the squad, man. Also, Fred, by the way, because you just signed up, make sure you go in there and do the partnership, John. Become a partner in there too, bro. Just take a look at that when you get a chance. Jamil's in the building. Jamil, what's really good?
What's
Don is
really,
here.
really good?
You can officially start because Don is here. Andrea's here. Andrea, what's going on? Stack Snyder in the building. What's up? Oh, how you? Oh, I heard that. I heard that. Listen, man. For the folks that are watching, I see we got like 10 times more people watching than we got like and love buttons. Now, please do me a favor, hit the like and love button. I don't care whether you're watching on YouTube, whether you're watching on Facebook, wherever you're watching. Please, hit the like button. If you're watching on Christian Mingle, hit the like button over there too. Ho 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 ho. Jason says that he's watching right now from State Road CFCF. I don't know whether you at work. I don't know whether you you behind the wall. But either way, we appreciate you and be safe, Jason. We appreciate. Listen, man, we get love from everywhere, man. So shout out to everybody up State Road, man. It's still love to everybody behind the wall, whether you working or maybe you paying your debt to society, whatever it may be, man.
Current from hold, you know what I mean? Just tell them, you know what I mean, not to be
I mean, for those that are from Philly, you know what CFCF is. But shout out to everybody watching this from CFCF. We got folks watching from CFCF that's fire too. That's right, Omar. Likes are definitely free. Sam, what's goody? Jose's in the building. Peace, 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 peace. Yo, listen. So we got a lot to talk about, man. One major article I saw this week was talking about a study that was done, about individuals being broke when they're single. So we're gonna get into that. You know what I mean? But all right, let's see what Jamil said. You catch that vid, it's stuff but was inspiring on a few levels and helpful for a novice. I watched it a little bit. That joint was long, by the way, Jamil. Pause. That I cut the video on. I thought it was like a short. I said, yo, this joint like 2 hours. So I didn't finish it, to be honest with you. But
what video was that?
He dropped it in our in the By the Hood University. It was about the conscious community and monetizing and using things like NFTs and things of that nature. So, that was interesting, to say the least. But yeah, man, so there's a couple things I want to get into, man. Let's just jump right into it, man. Let's not take up too much of the folks' time. We appreciate you guys for tuning in with us every Friday. You guys show love, but we're gonna share some of these articles, get your opinion. Got to get my brother Cora's opinion about everything going on in the world of finance, man. All right, let's first start with this one, bro. I know you talked about this a little bit. This is about Domino's Pizza, right? So Domino's Pizza, they're getting eaten alive by the worker shortage. So the worker shortage is really affecting their business. Crazy part is they have 41 straight quarters of same store sales increases, and that run was ended. And it's because of a worker shortage, right? It fell 1.9%. This time last year was 17.5% increase. So they had 41 straight quarters. So it says that staffing has been most challenging, most certainly during the quarter, which is what the CEO said. So they're having issues kind of staffing, so now what they're looking at is their wages and how to better treat their team members. Like, what is your thoughts on this? Because I know you talked about folks not going back to work or taking jobs. It really affected Domino's bottom line. So are you shocked by that, for one? And for two, what's your thoughts in general?
I'm not shocked by that. And the other thing I'm not shocked by is that it's happening, right? Because the government thought that it was them giving away money that made people not go back to work. And what it really was is that people really start to see their own worth from is like, F out of here. Like, and then people not putting their kids through the kind of trauma that having a 9-to-5 job starting at 14, 15, 16-year-old bring. People are starting not to do that. So you losing young workers, old people aging out of the game, and then you got the people in between who figured out, it's people like us that's putting out financial education and literacy and stuff like that, where people start put their own money to work, and then this is what you start to see.
Let me ask you a question, Core. How old were you when you got your first job?
Legit job? I was legit job. 16. I was working. I worked at the Man Music Center.
All right. So now my question to you is this, right? Because I heard your statement, but let me think about something. Did you find value in that job? Like, was there?
That was my favorite thing I ever did in my life.
No, what I'm saying is, how did it change you as a person? Like, was there any value in it outside of the paycheck? Did you find any sort of value in it with your first job? You're the first legit job where you're getting a check.
No.
Really?
No. I mean, because I wasn't looking for value, so I didn't find it because I wasn't looking for it.
But even in retrospect, right? In retrospect, looking back, was there any value to you?
It taught me people was crazy as hell. No, I mean, really, I really ain't really learned nothing in my first job. Like, it was because maybe it's because I was, like I said, I was working in the park. I was getting free concerts out of it. I got to see all the stars come in and out of the city. You know what I mean? Because there's a big concert venue here in Philly. So, you know what I mean? Like, and then on top of getting paid, I was getting tips.
Mm-hmm.
So on top of getting paid, I was getting tips. I was making more from tips every day than I was making all week from the job. So
interesting, right? I want to ask everybody that to answer that in the chat if you can. How old were you when you got your first job? If you don't mind answering that, because it's something you said that made me think about this, right? In reference to this domino story, because it is a beginning job for a lot of folks. My first job was at AMC movie theater. Wish I'd have took stock, but that's neither here nor there. I was 15, just got my working papers, but I took value in it, and the value I took from that job is like, yo, there got to be a better way. People actually get up and do this every day. Like, so the value I took from it was like, yo, I got to find a way. It's one of the reasons why when I learned about it,
I had so much fun and made so much money. I was like, damn, people get to do this every day.
And that's the crazy part. The crazy part is I had fun, right? Because I got to watch free movies. I was 15, so I would flirt with the girls on the weekend. Like, so it was fun, but I realized, like, at some point it became monotonous. Like, yo, I got to do this every day.
Yo, dog, I was out in the Platte every day. It was crazy. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm at the Platte every day. I get, you know what I mean? I'm out there. I was like, man, listen, if I get to do this for the rest of my life and them tips, I ain't have no responsibility. Them tips was coming in. Then I get my check at the end of the week. And my mom was like, you got to save half of your check every week. I was like, sweet. Because she ain't know nothing about them tips. So when I had to save half my check every week, it was sweet. You know what I mean? Like, cool. You know what I mean? She thought I was going to give her a problem about saving half of my check or lie about my check. She opened my first bank account for me. You know what I mean?
So, I mean, you did learn to take some value from that, whether you know it or not. Right? Steve says right here that the revolutionary history of naming a CFCF is crazy. I don't know the history of that. I guess I got to check that out, but I appreciate you, putting me down with that, Steve. I got to look that up. That $40 a week line item adds up. If you know, you know. Don, you out of pocket, yo. All right. Master Dex is here. What's goody?
Yizzo.
Crystal's here. Walks in with my Chipotle.
Yo, we about to put Crystal on the porch. we got to put Crystal on the porch walking in with that damn Chipotle.
Shout out to Charlita, man. Yo, Charlita, I was going to hit you up too, man. I be watching your timeline. You be doing them infused waters, and I'm a little jealous. I need you to put me down with some of them infused waters. But anyway, she said she's 14. First job. Yeah, so another 14. Grill rolling. Oh, she said actually 15 to 16. The question I have for you guys is, did you take any value from it in retrospect? Like, was there anything that you took from it that helped you to become who you are today? Was there any value that you took from your first job? Figured out that manual labor ain't for me. See, that's something like that. Like Jose, that's a lot of times a job will show you like, yo, I got to figure something else out. And that's something you take from that, right? So Dex says 16 at a golf club, my first hand look at generational wealth. All they did was play golf, till she didn't grab. All right, so he took some value from that. He saw that there's a leisure class in this country. And a lot of people don't recognize that there is literally a leisure class. And to Dex's point, that's what they do when they get up in the morning.
What's crazy is I saw that and I never even thought about it. Like, I never thought about that. You know what I mean? Like, because like I said, every superstar that performed in the city came through there. You know what I mean? So I got to see all of them. So I never even looked at their lifestyle. I didn't even see it as luxurious.
Well, not even their lifestyle. He's talking about on a golf course where people just wake up.
No. I'm just saying, like, it's, you know.
Oh, by the way,
I
Chris,
might not even take
up
that.
Here we call that checkers.
Yeah. So I'm just saying he took that from that, right? I never thought about the luxurious things that I seen, you know, pulling up in Benzes and 15 car entourages pulling in. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I never even thought about the luxury of it all.
Yeah, Greg had like the straight, this the hood zone. Everybody get this job at one point. You know what I'm saying? Young boy sweeping up at the barbershop. Mm-hmm.
I see. That's why I asked for it. Was it an official job or unofficial job? Because I had street jobs, but it wasn't.
Whoa, doctor. Don't.
That's what I said.
We ain't doing that on. You know. Anyway, listen. Crystal says she found out that she wasn't built for manual labor, or white people telling her what to do. So that's what she took from that job. You know what I'm saying? So 13 at a car wash, and it was cool because of tips. Tried Taco Bell at 15, but realized labor wasn't for me and went into sales. All right, so Jay's in the bill. What's up, Jay? How you, beloved?
What's the dealio?
College work study at 18 taught me I needed to hustle harder. I had to get a few zips. All right, so no, but that was my.
That's what I'm saying. Like, people in here just wilding, dog.
Yo, all right, my fault. Yo, I love y'all, man. Y'all be having me dying every Friday, man. But no, here's the thing, right? So that domino story, when we think about that, when you just said what you said about people not putting their children through that, but then I'm starting to think like, well, are they going to lose out by not having that experience? Because not that I'm not one of these people that I believe hard work is for suckers. So I'm not talking about the, you know, the power of having a job, but I do think as a kid, sometimes it could put you in the right place, especially, I know people can relate to this, right? When you're very young, and you go to one of those jobs that you get when you're a kid, and you see somebody who's like a lifer there, who's like 30 or 40 years old, and this is what they do for a living. And you look at them and be like, all right, I'm half your age. I don't want to end up like Mr. Tony or, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's something that's real. All right, let's see what else we got here. Man. All right, so Rochelle's in the building. What's up, Rochelle? Crystal. Bath and Body Works is my job. I had my first clear manager. Didn't have a white manager ever get into my late 20s, and it's killing me. Hey, Corey, you all right, bro? You look you all right?
Yeah, like my computer freezing. It's freezing out. It's freezing me out.
COINTELPRO got you. You look cool now, though.
Yeah, man. I started talking about my first legitimate job, you know, and then I started talking about my first real job and not my first legitimate job. Then COINTELPRO started to try to get at me.
Okay. So he used to work at with his friend in the commercial cleaning business for $25 a day. So
man, when you 12, that seemed like $1 million.
Yeah, so peep this right here. All right. He said Pizza Hut is closing at 9 on Fridays. That's insane. Little Caesars are closed all day Sunday and Monday. Wow. I see some shorts in my future. No, I'm gonna say let alone. But no, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
See, so GC says, "What's up, GC? How are you, by the way?
Yeah,
got my first job at 13, 14. It confirmed what my mother repeatedly told me about people. See, so I mean, a lot of times that experience does help who you are. I was a pastry chef for Country Club, and there's money on top of money just being wasted. That's the leisure class, boy. They just be wasting money. It taught me the power of connections. They were putting each other on, from betting on horses, CEO jobs, Dr. sharing Viagra's, discounts on cars, houses. So about networking, more or less. Yeah, man. So had to supplement the other jobs. All right. So that was my first question I had to ask everybody, because it looks like a lot of folks ain't taking those jobs these days. Those beginner jobs where, you could take some value from it. Although my brother Corey said FOH to all that. You know what I mean?
That's trash, right? Because my wife, so my son had a summer job this year, but I was like, look, man, no manual labor jobs. And it's not nothing against manual labor, but I don't want him to think that his labor is the only thing that can bring in money. You know what I mean? Like, not that his labor can't bring in money, but I don't want him to grow up thinking like only thing I can do is trade time for money.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is sometimes seeing those folks that are actually doing that, it might make him listen to you more about the other stuff. When he sees that some people are out there having to really do this for a living. Chastity was good. Chastity, by the way, amazing Zoom last night. I definitely was tuned in. You did your thing. Congratulations. I'm so proud of you. That was dope. Just want to say, thank you for the invite. I definitely was there. I'm gonna see if I can, pull in Sunday. Our Sundays is crazy, but I'm gonna see anyway. Shout out to our brother Willard here. Willard says, "Good evening. What's up, Willard? His first job was at a car wash. Did it for 3 weeks and determined that he was going to college." See, so that's what I mean. Like that's some of the value that you may take from it. Realize like, yo, I'm not built for this. So Crystal says her manager said, "I know you need this job to help your family pay bills or something. So you should be happy for the hours." Wow. And that was her last day. "I'm only taking a job if they pay me in shares." I heard that. So Lou says first job at 13. Lou, what was you doing at 13? "Young cats are always going to take serving and bartending gigs. The daily cash is addictive." Jamil, I got a story about that soon in a second about those kind of jobs as well. It got to be a company in my portfolio though. So Dex is out here trying to find jobs now, being strategic. And it's funny, I was reading Jose's status earlier. He was talking about switching fields and finding ways to always be working in something that he enjoys. So I thought that was kind of dope. So Cookie's in the building. What's good, Cookie? How are you? Chastity says 16 at Kroger. Man, that's a nice stock too. not investment advice.
Like
not investment advice. All right, so here's another story for you, Core. I'm gonna ask you a question, man. What do you think is the best asset class, right? Or the best asset in general? I shouldn't say asset class. What is the best asset to own when inflation strikes, in your opinion? As a matter of fact, let's see what people say. What do you think is the best asset to own when inflation strikes? So we're going through massive inflation now, and Wells Fargo did a study of all kinds of asset classes. Now we'll preface it by saying this: crypto is not included in this, so there's no crypto. But what do you think is the best asset to own during inflation? All right, so Chastity says metals.
The best asset is always going to be land.
All right, so land. We got land, metals, crypto, silver.
I'm just going to say real estate.
Mm-hmm. According to my rent property. Julio, what's good, Julio? How you? Seeds. I'm gonna show y'all real quick what the study showed. And this is a study done by Wells Fargo.
Paid off real estate, Don said.
Right. So it says that the best one is oil.
Damn, that's gangster.
It's actually oil.
Dang.
And the whole study is here, and you can look it up online. The whole study is oil. But during inflationary times, oil has the highest return in the history of the market. And that's very interesting. But historically,
I know why, but I just didn't. It never even occurred to me to think about it.
Hey, yo, speaking of that, y'all seen gas prices recently?
I know. I was just looking at that, like dizzying.
All right, so but this is how everything is connected, right? So, us just going about our daily business. If you pay for gas, you recognize the increase in gas prices, right? We also are dealing with massive inflation right now, based upon everything going on in the economy. And I just happened to be reading this article, and it says that now all the oil stocks are also shooting through the roof. So it's all connected, right? So this is the thing about learning how
stocks, period, because people can't go without that. So that's something that people can't. I mean, people can't go without housing either, but housing markets get deflated during deflationary times because at a certain point, people just stop paying a certain price, and you just got to bring the prices down. Or
I mean, here's why I would prefer land anyway, because the thing about land is even in other times it doesn't. All right, so it's more stable. Let's put it that way. It's more stable of an asset. It's a store of value, but also the ability to produce cash flow.
Inflationary times, I would know why. I understand why oil is, because first of all, a lot of things are made with oil that people have no idea that are made with oil, plastics and all of that kind of stuff.
So just to give you an idea that in terms of what's there, so the emerging stock market came in number 2, and that's like in an emerging market, so it's not necessarily our market. Gold was actually number 3. Cyclical stocks, U.S. small cap stocks. So, man, but number 1 by far, actually.
Yeah, it ain't even close.
Yeah, by far is oil. So, just to keep that in mind, it's something that I found interesting. So, let's see what else we got here. sees a couple more land. Selling my mom's tomatoes in front of the house at 11. Okay, so he had a tomato stand. He was already on an entrepreneur tip.
Yeah, getting to it.
Paid off real estate, natural resources if you can control them. Man, that's where all the money is always.
He was right on it.
Securities or real estate, yeah, the oil security, yep. So, how I control some of that? That's a great question. Corey, do you have any sort of oil holdings or anything that you buy?
Not just part of my total index fund. Nothing.
I know Kamari just did a whole special about it, how he invested in oil. But Master Deck says everything from A to Z that we utilize is damn near made with oil.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm gonna be skinny from walking. Dead ass. Yo, gas. Listen, yo, gas crazy right now, and it's going up. Yo, the gas station I passed on Broad Street, it literally went up from like 9 o'clock this morning to about 5 o'clock this evening. It went up like 13 cents. I said, damn, what happened during the course of the day?
They got that news.
Oh, she got a car that didn't run on regular, knowing I'm not wealthy. You driving with that 90? You put that 93 in yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she got that high octane.
Oh my God! Said in Cali, it's almost $9 right now.
Yeah, I'll be walking around in Cali.
I'm over here complaining about $4. You talk about, man, listen, everything in Cali is expensive as hell though. So that's an article that I found interesting too. So another article that I found interesting, right? And it's the title of the show. It's about another study that was done, right? And let me show you the results of this study. It's about you single folks out there. Shout out to everybody out there who's watching this who's single. Because it says that more Americans are single these days and faring worse financially than those with partners, right? So the single number of adults has ballooned since 1990. But from a financial standpoint, those single folks out there, y'all doing like pretty bad. Y'all doing the worst. And the crazy part about it is single men are doing worse than anyone, right? So the percentage of unpartnered Americans between 25 and 54 increased 38%. Single men saw their earnings drop 4%, and the median wage for women living alone ticked down to 0.9%. So the earning outcomes were rosier for individuals living with a partner or a spouse. So partner men wages actually went up 7%. You know what I'm saying? So think about this.
God darn.
Partner women though. Women who are in relationships or married, and it says just living with someone in a relationship. Income is up 48%.
Damn.
48%. So single men are really out here like struggling.
Catching blades out here, catching bombs and blades.
Yo, man, how many of y'all people watching single men, man? Because now I'm not saying none of y'all specifically, but this is what the data shows, man.
Yeah, we can talk about our own lives, but the data is saying something totally different. That's like when people start talking about credit and we start talking about the data, nobody want to hear about the damn data. They only want to talk about what they do. They don't want to hear about what the data really shows, that everybody damn broke.
Yeah, man. Jamil talks about somebody trading oil. That is very profitable. I've heard of people that do that. I don't, but gas went up is almost $4. Yes, it did. So y'all single men out there struggling, man. That was the gist of that. But again, it also says that women who are in relationships and married, y'all getting to the bag right now. Just pushing 3. Well, can you say child support? So y'all broke. Oh man. Oh, you gotta go find your women to get your bread up, man. Did they take debt into this study? I gotta read through the whole study to see that. But no, I'm poor. I'm broke.
I'm poor. I ain't even poor. I can't afford the OR. I'm poor.
So Jose wants to know, is anybody out there watching looking for a parent of 2 with high ambition and drive? No, but let me ask you a question, Core. Are you surprised by this?
Actually, I'm not surprised because I mean the saying goes 2 heads is better than 1, right?
And so in times where you struggling, you got somebody to help you move through that time and then help you reach your goal to get to the next place, right? So it doesn't necessarily, mean anything in the grand scheme of things, but I'm not surprised that you would find that, especially people that's partnered up, start to move ahead. Because of course, if you partnered up, it says that now you got the power of two moving instead of the power of one. Even now you everybody got the outliers, people that don't help them do nothing, drag them down, tear their resources to pieces. And but I found that to be more of an outlier than the norm, right? Because like you said, marriage is the cheat code if you do it right. So
that's the key. The key is you got to do it right, though, right? So here's a lot. What's interesting about wealth in general, right? A lot of this stuff is right in front of our face. You can literally go by the Forbes magazine every year and look at the wealthiest people and read exactly what they do and how they've done it, right? It is not hidden from you. What I always notice though is anyone on that list, they always do one or two things. They always either own land or they own companies. I mean, really boils down to those things. But the second thing I notice is most of them are married, right? I mean, although some of them have been divorced 5 and 10 times, but still, they somehow always are back in a marriage. Yo, that's a great point. Jose, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, please hit the like button, love button, do something. But I always notice that, like, and one of the things about having a significant other or a spouse is it's a way to create time, right? So our book, Own Your Time and Space, talks about the value of time and space. But you create time when you have a partner if you're on the same page. Because I guess the other part is if you pick the wrong person, that might be worse than being single.
Yeah, it is. It is, man.
Choose wisely out there, people.
People's lives get absolutely destroyed by picking the wrong partner.
That's the flip side of this.
It's not like I said, but by the numbers, that those are the outliers. You know what I mean? Not that they don't happen, but by the numbers, those are outliers. And but I've seen it personally where I've seen women get into relationships with dudes and dude, no good for nothing. You know what I mean? and wreck their whole life, right? Because what they'll do is they'll stop their whole life to be with this dude and try to, make this dude happy. And then I seen it on the other side where a dude is doing pretty well, and then he picked the wrong woman, and she wasn't shooting shots in the gym, and she still get half of them, half that chicken. So
I mean, a new wave you see out here is dudes taking chicks to get alimony, though. I see that a lot lately.
Listen, it's crazy. I should tell you that alimony go both ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a couple high profile, but even on a low, even like not on a list, the high profile scale, I've seen that a couple times now. And I'm like, oh, this is the new wave. So I guess to that story's point, as they're making more money, that's part of the game.
The come up is real on both sides.
Yeah, man. So Jamil says it's been hard solo on disability, but I'm good on the headaches, distractions, and spending unnecessary bread of food and entertainment. It's cheaper to curb a friend zone her for. But see, that's what we're talking about, picking the right one. Because you pick the right one, that's not an issue. If you're moving one way, you want to find somebody moving the same way as you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, gotta pick correctly, man. Gotta pick correctly. A brothel's a dope asset to own. The OnlyFans chick can be the one. Yeah, y'all be out of pocket, yo.
Hey, my man Pies and Pans over there. Dex be talking that flavor to you skipped over Rochelle. Oh yeah.
That's all. I did put that up there. I did put that up there. Yeah, man. Yo, I forgot about Kevin Federline got the bag too.
Yeah, from Brittany.
Adrian! I'm glad you're here, Adrian. We got a new subscriber from Toledo, Ohio. What's good?
Hey, Miss Phoenix.
What's good? What's good in Ohio?
It's really good.
Shout out to everybody in Ohio. Yeah, man. So Adrian, what we're talking about is a study was just done, and the study said that people who are in relationships are making more money and have more wealth these days. And the people who are making the least amount are single men. Single men are doing the worst out here from a statistical standpoint. So we were talking about the importance of picking the right spouse, though, because you don't want to jump in a relationship just for the sake of jumping in a relationship. But it's interesting to see how the numbers bear out.
I'm about to state my most unpopular opinion that I've been saying for my entire adult life. Unpopular opinion. Marriage is not about love. Never was. Marriage is always about moving wealth, keeping family wealth within families, and moving it from generation to generation through those families. That's why you see in those movies there's a lot of incest and all of that kind of stuff. It's because they literally trying to keep the money in the family. And so that's what that's why arranged marriages have been a thing. Marriage has been arranged a lot longer than you've been able to pick your own spouse. So this stuff we doing is really kind of new when it comes to marriage and all of that kind of stuff. Not saying, you know what I mean?
No, I understand that. So I just want to make sure you're clear. So you don't believe in love marriages. That's what they call them, love marriages.
No, I'm not saying that I don't believe in them. I'm saying that's not what it's intended for.
That's not the original intent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. Yo, y'all be out here wild. Yo, Jamil be out here wilding. Adrian says, pick the right spouse, the right career, get paid better. So Rochelle says her ex is doing great. She about to ride down on him and pull it.
Zion.
Marriage is big business. What love got to do with it? All right, so I see how y'all feel, but no,
I didn't say that you shouldn't love your spouse. I'm saying marrying for love is it's kind of new because that's not what it was done for.
I'm with you. So I just wanted to share that data, and that story with you guys about who's doing bad out here. Single men, y'all doing bad out here, but. Let's move on nonetheless, though, because I have a couple other things that I want to show you, a couple of these stories that we do every week. So for those that tune in every week, we always go over real life scenarios in terms of what's going on in the world of finance. Get your opinion and see how you would move in this specific scenario. Adrian just wants to point out that marriage is also spiritual for some.
For sure. But that wasn't never the intent either. They arranged the marriages through the church so to get sanctioned because the church was the sanctioning body back in those times.
Yo, Jose says that he sort of want to arrange marriages for his children. All parents say that, man. Y'all some controlling people, man.
I already told my son, you already know how he get in my will.
Yo, Master Dex is out here wilding, so I'm just gonna put this on the screen because he said, but what I'm gonna do is
I'm just gonna let that sit.
I'm gonna sit there, good brother. But all right, so here's a story that I read this week, and all right, is my screen showing, Core?
Yeah.
All right, so here's a story, and I'm gonna read it, and I'm gonna tell you why this is interesting to me, right? So it says, my girlfriend says I should tip wait staff at restaurants. I say they're just doing their job like construction workers and fast food employees. Who's right? As long as all service staff are doing their job and getting paid an hourly wage, there is no reason to tip anyone.
Now, that should be the case.
Now, here's what it says. Today, my partner spoke to me for the third time about why she disagrees with my belief and practice of not tipping waitresses. To me, as long as all service staff are doing their job and getting paid an hourly wage, there's no reason to tip anyone, whether they mess up my order or give me great service. I don't understand why waitresses need to be tipped when they're like all other service staff, such as construction workers, cleaners, fast food attendees, etc. I'm not expected to tip all other service staff, so why is she bothering me about tipping the waitress? Every single time we go to a restaurant, they're doing their job like everybody else. So, Core, what's your opinion on this?
All right, so the reason why it's customary to tip waiters and waitresses and wait staff is because they weren't getting paid at the normal hourly wage that everybody else was getting paid at. And so what was happening is the customers was taking on. Now, the business should pay them enough where you shouldn't have to tip. Let's be very, very clear about that. But because businesses in America are trash and are built on trash ethics, we've taken on the customary stance of tipping service people that are already being paid from another source. You know what I mean? So if that's the customary thing to do for those jobs, because we want people in those jobs and doing those jobs, then you should tip them for doing those jobs. You know what I mean? And tip them at a customary rate. So I'm with that. So I'm with his wife not, being down with the non-tipping stuff.
All right, here's the thing, right? So the average across the country, right, of salary of a waitress is like $2.31. So most businesses pay below the average minimum wage, which is like $7.50, $7.25, somewhere around there. But the average for a waitress is about $2.31, and that's built in because they recognize that most will get tips. Now, some states mandate that you can't pay a waitress lower than minimum wage, so they're getting $7.25 plus tips. But most states isn't that way. So you're getting paid $2 an hour plus tips. So that's kind of how they make their living. It's like in a social contract we have that's unwritten. So I believe in tipping, and I consider myself a pretty good tipper. But I read something this week that intrigued me. But I'm gonna go through these comments before I explain exactly what I read. GC said y'all going crazy in the chat tonight. Kev is in the building. What's good, Kev?
What's really good?
Watching Maxie go off. Yeah, it's preseason, beloved. Listen, I love Maxie, but Kev, you got Maxie.
Yeah, you going overboard, bro.
So obligation is obligatory, and GC says that he doesn't tip. Okay, so Omar says only 10%. So Dex says that the original meaning of tip was to ensure promptness. Didn't know that. I'm actually out here learning something. I got to look up CFCF and to ensure promptness. Hey, Dex, I'm just letting you know right now that I'm getting ready to use that in some form or fashion somewhere just to act like the smartest guy in the room. So I'm stealing that from you. So I hope you didn't make that up. So Adrian says, my sister and her friends make sure they raise the children around each other. The parents know each other. So they're trying to create an environment where they marry them.
Married off their kids to somebody that they know
until they're disappointed when they go outside of that circle.
Yeah, man.
Goofball servers make $2.13 plus tips. Yeah. All right. So GC kind of says that he doesn't eat in restaurants. So I mean, if you're not eating in a restaurant, it's different. But I mean, you still could tip depending upon where a place is. He don't like sitting inside restaurants. I respect that. Yeah. He said find a new partner because dude is cheap. Service didn't get paid more than a few dollars because tips are expected. Yeah. Yep. That's exactly that. I mean, So Adrian said that's a red flag for me. If I'm on a date and he says he doesn't believe in tipping, bye. I tip well if the service was good. All right.
I tip well if the service was ass because they still worked.
So went to a sports bar last night after 10 p.m. 18% is automatic on the receipt. Receipt said edit tip to discretion. Cussed out the manager. He talking about company policy, but it's not on the receipt.
So what they normally charge a gratuity for anything over 6 people, and then the tip on top of that, right?
Because but some restaurants they just have a mandatory So I've been in places where, but usually they tell you beforehand.
No. It normally they'll put it right by the front door. I haven't actually been anywhere that doesn't do that. So wherever this was is kind of trash.
Yeah, they was trying to get Lou for his chicken. Chastity, you watch Alice in Borderland. It was a wild. I told you that was wild. That was wild. I know Squid Games is the rage, but Alice in Borderland to me was even wilder. We got Oakland, California to build.
What it is though?
What's really good? I always tip $20 or above. Sheesh. It don't matter what the bill is, huh? $20. Meme coming up. Yo, if I find a way to put it in a meme, I might. You know what I'm saying? My father's a chef. I better not leave the restaurant without tipping the wait staff.
Man.
You know what I mean? I acquired it as well. So do your thing. Okay, so he stole it too. So it's no problem. We all stealing that information. We about to all learn. We learned what tip means, Paul. So we all about to run with that. Always tip unless the service is bad. I absolutely hate automatic tips. Sometimes with automatic tips, they play themselves because I was going to give more.
Let's talk about bad service, right? So I've received bad service many times, just like a lot of people here, right? I still tip well. I won't tip as well as I will tip if the service is exemplary.
Mm-hmm.
But I always tip well anyway. I tip minimum 25%. Right? Because I want to make sure that if that person works, they get paid, right? It doesn't, regardless of whether or not they worked well, they still work. They still brought you your food. You still got your stuff. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I gotta, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I've seen, people not tip people who, if the food was wrong, they not the chef.
Yeah.
I've seen people who tip, if the food take long, that person didn't prepare the food. If the drink was wrong, they not preparing the drinks. You know what I mean? Like, if that person is rude and they, they got an attitude going back and forth, you still should pay them because they're still working. You don't got to go as far as I go, but you still should tip them.
So Miami has mandatory tips. Didn't tipping in this country start with the black railroad train workers? All right, some more history for you guys. Y'all out here teaching us tonight. 12 wings at $17.99. Oh no.
Damn.
Sheesh. I don't like that mandatory 18% because it takes away from the server. Yep. I like to tip cash. And that's what I'm saying. Sometimes they play themselves with that. I tip my Amazon groceries that was $20, even though the suggested is $7. I don't mind tipping, but why are there tip requests for cashier? They got that in every store now too.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
And GC says that restaurant companies have, guilted folks into doing their jobs. Here's the crazy part: if they actually paid them the wage, it would all trickle down to us anyway.
Yeah, it'll just come out in the food prices.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's it. Why are these restaurants paying proper wage? I ain't going for it. Yeah, because they pay a proper wage, it's coming out of our pocket one way or another.
You're gonna pay now. You're gonna pay that now. You talking about mandatory tips? That's what you're gonna be paying.
So Don says he tips anyway. If you're not going to tip, let me know before we show up because I can eat without you. Don said don't be out here embarrassing him. I used to work Togos at Applebee's and make $10 an hour plus $80 minimum a night, 4 hours a day. Had a gang of regulars. A lady who tipped him $100 to $200 twice a week. Sheesh. Jamil, no man, let me leave it alone. I'm gonna save my comment about your relationship to that lady. The only person I didn't tip was a waitress who acted like she was mad she had to work. Bad attitude all around. My friend left her a penny tip with a note saying get a new job. Damn. Oh man. My dad RIP was a while back. I was flossing and tipped our CD $100. Okay. See, look at you. You want some Goodfellas type tips. You trying to get good seats and whatnot.
Man, listen, if you go somewhere regularly, tip well. Like, who I tipped all the time and I used to get in the front? My barber. So when I used to go to the barber shop, I used to tip my barber, right? I would watch everybody come in there. They would tip the shampoo girls and all of that stuff. I tipped the barber because when it comes time to get a cut, that's the person that's going to move you to the front. Like, people be sleeping on that little extra $5-10 got me put to the front. It saved me hours upon hours of sitting in barbershops.
All right, let me explain something to you. So real quick, though, I was reading the last couple of comments. I'm going to tell you why this actual article was interesting to me. If it's a 5-star restaurant and I've paid over $100 for my meal, I try to tip 60 or above. Okay, Cookie out here,
Cookie got cake.
I go to DIY wing joint only. Okay, so you got a upper echelon wing joint. I need to know about that. Where's that located? The wings must be fire.
Yeah. It's called the King of Diamonds. The KOD.
Got free cuts when I left my wallet at home because he been tipping his barber. GC, you don't tip your barber, man? Gotta tip your barber, yo.
Yeah, you don't know about how much time. Man, listen, never mind.
Gotta tip your barber. But yo, here's what I want to say. Here's why this was interesting to me, right? So, I was on IG this week. I was, scrolling, looking at all the new BBLs that came out. But I saw this post that someone put, and forgive me because I forgot who it was, but I thought it was interesting. And what they were talking about is charity. And they said that they don't trust charity, right? And they don't trust charity because, every time they read about how much actually gets to the people they're supposed to be serving. And it says, so what they started doing as a way to give back is they actually save money during the course of the entire year. So when they get paid, they put up a little bit of money here and there. And around the holiday season, what they do is they'll go out to eat or whatever and give a huge tip, right? Like, they'll go out on Thanksgiving or something and give $500 tip. You know what I'm saying? Or $200 tip or something like that. But that's their way.
Directly where that money
is. And I said that's their way of giving back and making sure it goes in someone's hand as opposed to like giving to the Red Cross or something like that.
You already know how I feel about that.
And I thought that was dope. I said, damn, that's a nice way to do it because you still get the, you still
get the effect.
Yeah, but you're direct with it.
Yeah.
Right? So I thought that was dope, man.
But if you know how I feel about charity, Y'all, some of y'all might not like me no more, but I think charity is absolute garbage, absolutely trash.
Corey, you gotta tell your barber to set up appointments.
You can set appointments all day with barbers. It doesn't matter, man.
Yeah.
If you tip them well, they will move their appointment to cut your hair.
Aside from selling ADT, serving was my favorite gig. I worked 300 days a year. Slanging food is like slanging this, but you're really selling your service. The restaurant is selling food.
Yep.
Yeah, I've actually overpaid for amazing service. Corey's barbershop royalty. Okay. You always tip your barber. All right, I'm about to say, man, you gotta be tipping your barber, yo. But only get a cut once every 3 to 4 months. My barber got appointments, ain't gonna cap if he mess me. So always tip the barber. Your hairline bill will be looking janky next time if you don't. Yeah, barbers definitely get a tip out here. So I stopped trusting charities when I saw how Red Cross did Haiti.
I stopped trusting charities when I used to work for them, and I seen I'm cool.
Braiders, hairstylists, Uber drivers, wait staff. Adrian out here giving everybody fire tips.
As you should.
Kev, you bugging, yo. You still bugging, man. It's preseason, man. Your barber messing up your lineup happens, but you know he not gonna get you. So it ain't because of your tip that your barber is messing your lineup. It's basically what GC is saying, man. So listen, that was the first story. I got one more I want to share with everybody. But so what do you think about that strategy, Core, of this stacking your bread and then at the end of the year, making sure your charity goes right to the people? That's something that's
no, that's a dope strategy. I mean, I don't do nothing that similar. Like it's just when I give, when I feel the urge or the need to give. You know what I mean? Like I try to put myself in position to help the people around me. And so the most charitable thing you could do is help the people you love. You know what I mean? So I try to put myself.
Kev says Stephen A doesn't tip his barber. Stephen A doesn't tip his barber. And by the way, what's up, Andrea? How are you? Says don't hate on nonprofits because she has one and she's helping these kids.
No, it's nonprofits and charities are different. It's a difference between nonprofit and charity.
Okay. I'm giving you a chance to explain what you mean to the people.
So not for profit means that your company, takes in money and then they spend all of the money that they take in. Literally not for profit, right? They bring in money and they put it back out to the people, right? Charities do something totally different than nonprofits. Even though they have nonprofit status, these charities are doing something totally different, right? When the U.S. wants to go take something over, the two things that they send are missionaries and charities. They don't send bombs. When the U.S. only send bombs when our partners and stuff is in trouble. That stuff is never for us. When the U.S. wants to take over something, they send charities and they send missionaries. So you got to be very, very careful with charities.
Okay, so it's not nonprofit.
That doesn't mean foreign countries. They will send them into your neighborhoods, right? All of those charities in your neighborhood are keeping the people in the same place, right? Because charities don't empower people. What charities do is they temporarily fill voids and gaps. Whereas if you empower people to not have to do it, charities should have to work themselves out of business. Right? If the object is not to work yourself out of business, then all you're doing is being an enabler. So you gotta figure out a way to work yourself out of business if you're going to be a charity.
But Andrea, this FYI, we support everything that you got going on.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you put the work in, we can vouch for that.
We can vouch for the work you put in.
Now, Kev wants to bring up a church, and I'm just gonna move past that because I don't want to set Corey off by bringing up the church. Have you ever paid for a stranger's groceries? I'll do that to give back.
Yeah,
I've never actually done that. I've never done that. I always wanted to do that.
I did that today.
I mean, it's kind of hard for me to do that on Instacart. I've done it at a Poppy store, you know what I'm saying? But it's no one's groceries.
It was a young lady.
I mean, somebody baking egg and cheese
in line today, and she was buying Enfamil and stuff, and she was, fumbling around looking for money. I just told him to put it on my tab and let her walk out the store. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you can't be fumbling around for Enfamil money.
Yeah, I'm. My thing is like I pay for people's stuff out the Poppy store, like bacon, egg, and cheese, but never nobody's groceries. Now I have paid for some stuff in the store, but usually it's somebody that's in front of me and they doing too much, and I'm in a rush. Yep. So if I'm being honest,
put that on my tab. Honest, go.
If I'm being honest, it's really about me though. If I'm being honest.
Yeah.
That big difference between profits not. Yeah. So. Oh man, Kev, you about to start a whole new show. What's the benefit of a 501(c)(3)?
Man, listen. Yeah.
We'll get you an answer to that. Matter of fact, we may make a whole video just to explain that.
Yeah.
Ho, Frisco in the building, Bay Area, stand up. Julio, appreciate that. Listen, I'm going to make sure I say Bay Area, man, because Voltron told us one time we said Cali. He said, "Nah, this ain't Cali. This the Bay Area." Bay. So I'll make sure I say Bay Area. But listen, I got another story real fast. And Jamil says, we get these last couple comments. Charities for embezzlement and nepotism. Y'all see what happened with Ted DiBiase and his sons? Yeah, man. First of all, the idea of Ted DiBiase having a church just like that just screams fraud. Like I don't know why, but like Ted DiBiase in the church,
like you can't be religious.
It just yeah. Andrea says thanks for the clarification. No doubt. American Cancer Society's worst nightmare is a cure for cancer.
That's why they'll never cure it.
Yeah.
All of those people will be out of job.
Legit nonprofits got IRS Form 990s that are publicly accessible. That's interesting.
So do charities.
So Corey is a good guy, man. You helping folks with their infant and all that. So, all right, so y'all some good folks out here. Y'all some good folks out here, man. You mean like the granny in front of you pulling her wallet out of her bosom and paying with change? Yeah. I ain't gonna front. Yeah. I've done that, but it's really about me. That's why I don't really count that because that's not like, what I mean? That's like
if I see the lady in front of me pull out the change wallet, it's time for me to pay because I am not standing there doing that.
Area I'm at went from ultimate apartments to homeless people around the corner. More trash every year. Wow. Yeah, I could imagine. Latoya, what's good? Hey, how are you? Really good. How are you? All right, Corey, let me get to the story though. All right, here's another story. Another story that's happening right now. This should be a good one. Let's see. All right, here we go. All right, you got my screen, Corey?
Yeah.
All right, it says grandma recently passed away, leaving behind a 7-figure estate. Needless to say, things are getting messy, right? So basically, this relative left more to grandpa's kids and their families, and his uncle and trustee is upset and hurt by this. So a relative recently passed away, leaving behind a 7-figure estate. Needless to say, things are getting messy. When grandma passed, it was expected by all for the trust to be executed by my aunt for many years, until she recently developed a medical condition that affected her cognitive ability. As such, the successor trustee was switched to her, to this person's uncle, who is believed by the grantor to be competent in executing the trust. However, this uncle is impulsive, doesn't believe in working with lawyers, and thinks he knows what he is doing, yet hasn't requested a certificate of trust or even notified the bank of the grantor's death. We are already 2 weeks after the funeral. He is not trusted by most beneficiaries, and there is some fear he may take the assets across state lines to try to put them in a personal trust. So this person is not a beneficiary and has no vested interest. However, they feel stuck because they don't know what to do about the execution of this trust. The uncle wants to do things his way, regardless of estate and trust laws, and wants to know if there's anything they can do, blah, blah, blah. But here's the gist of it. Grandma left more to grandpa's kids and their families, and this uncle was upset and hurt by this. For years, he thought the grandparents favored that side of the family, and now that he is in charge, he doesn't want to honor their wish. I was told by other family members that this uncle did not plan on honoring an amendment reducing one of his siblings' inheritance. If they challenge him, he's going to be called a crook and he will cease talking to him. So that is the gist of that story there. First thing I want to say is this about trust and wills and all that kind of stuff. The reason they're important is because, and I've seen this in real life. In fact, I had a long conversation last night with someone dealing with a similar situation. I'm not going to put all their business out there, but everything is cool until that person passes, right? Because people are emotional. And it's easy to say what you're going to do until that thing is in front of you. But this is a sad situation because estates actually tear families apart a lot of times, especially when, you allow it to do that. So what is your opinion on this story, Cole? What should they do?
What should they do, or what would I do? So there's two different things. There's the right.
All right, well, give me both. Give me both.
And then there's what I would do, right? Because
what would you do?
Again, it's the difference between the right thing to do and what I would do, right? Sometimes it's the same thing, but most of the time those things don't coincide.
So what would you do in my city high voice? What would you do?
I would me and that uncle might have a very physical talk, right? About executing the will of someone who willed that, right? That's what they wanted, right? And so especially if I have a close relationship and I know the right thing to do, me and him gonna have a little talk. I might end up sitting down for a minute. But
you're gonna go learn the history behind the term CFCF.
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, current Fromhold correctional facilities might get me up close and personal. So, but the thing about that is, the right thing to do would just be to get a lawyer involved and then, move through the process that way and get, Granny's wishes fulfilled. Right. And so, get a lawyer involved and get Granny's wishes fulfilled. It might be cheaper than my way too. That might actually be cheaper than my way.
All right. So Kev said, change Granny is game. Jamil says, you want to learn how to run a nonprofit? You can just cash out Umar. He'll point you donations. All right. So let's see. Send that man a cease and desist. That's the Corey's point about getting the law involved. That's exactly what you got to do. Latoya has your other way in. Just get the shovel. Get the shovel ready. Sue the uncle. They need to go ahead and get the So here's the thing, right? And Adrian says the family received a message that says he
sleeps with the fishes.
Adrian from Chicago. She don't play that, man. But listen. The thing about this is you have to put your wishes down. You have to make sure the person that you're choosing is competent. Now, obviously, in this situation, they didn't know that the aunt would start to suffer from debilitating disease or what have you. So, I mean, that wasn't the intent. But again, this stuff is in writing. Once it's in writing, the uncle's going to have a hard time, and the uncle could actually end himself up in some real trouble because what's going to happen is it'll go to probate court, and they can take that away from him. They can take that power away. If he doesn't do what's documented, you still have control, even though you're not here, because of what you put in writing. What's the importance of putting things in writing? I was trying to help somebody out of a situation. Now, it's crazy. I have so many of these scenarios that I come across because, again, I tell you all the time, that's one of the ways I buy real estate. So situations like this. But there's a situation where I was trying to buy a piece of real estate, and the siblings were fighting so much because the person that passed left so much to one sibling that the one thing they left them joint, they said they would rather walk away from 70 grand than to let the other person have the other 70 grand. Is that much animosity? When people get emotional,
people put emotions over money, because that's what's happening in my family. That happens all the time, dog. People put emotions over money until it get to a point where they can't put emotions over money, and then somebody else come in,
and then it's too late. Sometimes it gets to be too late.
At that point, it's too late. So you know what I mean? Like, man, listen, people is
yeah, man. So Ken, what's up, Ken?
Because I was ready to say something crazy, but when people emotions get involved, I can't say nothing, right? Because I've seen it, right? Like, there's two family members that I have that don't like each other, and have caused a 25-year rift.
I had beef with somebody in my family over some money, and it got to the point, right? This is a couple years ago where I was like, and it's one of my elders, but they owe me some bread, like some real bread too, like 5 figures in bread that I helped them move with. Anyway, but to make a long story short, I stopped speaking to him because my thing is, are you burn me? It's cool. Now I'm gonna leave you alone. But I had beef with another one of their siblings, right? And it was so long that I actually forgot what we were beefing about. And I was having a conversation with someone else. It's like, why you don't speak to them? I'm like, you know what? I don't even know. Like, so family is crazy, bro. Family has the ability to get you out of your,
They'll put you in a whole different place than anybody else because you actually loved and trusted them.
Mm-hmm.
So, right, it's hard to get me mad if I don't know you, love you, and trust you. Right, you gotta really work to get me mad. You gotta do multiple things to get me really out my character if I don't know you, love you, and trust you. Right, because those are the only people that can really hurt me, right? Because I don't, if I don't bang with you, nothing you're gonna do is gonna hurt me unless you directly aim it at me. You know.
Well, here's the thing. That's why it's interesting. Like most of these stories that we talk about, these real life finance stories, a lot of times it's family, right? And a lot of times it's family for that same reason. Kev says cease and desist after a 2-piece and a biscuit.
Yeah, you definitely gotta get these hands first.
Yeah, so it's gonna be furniture moving.
I'm gonna tell you this: the only fights I ever got into with my family,
to give Uncle Wedgie or a noogie, because court's going to be drawn out and more draining. And that's the thing: you're making attorneys wealthy because you guys can't seem to come to the same page with something. So, that's the problem with that. They ain't going to get up with Uncle because why did he feel comfortable pulling something like this? He knows what. Well, the reason sometimes people do it is not even that he knows he can get away with it. They said in the thing, he's hurt.
Yeah,
his feelings are hurt because basically what it looks like is in that situation
they got pushed out the trust.
He got pushed out by his own mother, so he feels betrayed. So it's emotions, and this is kind of the point I was trying to make. Kev just says it succinctly here: death causes chaos in families. Man, I've seen so many things like over people dying, man. So it's also why we got to have our paperwork straight. I know we say this so much every week. But I'm going to tell you something after I read this comment. I had a client that I was filling out an asset allocation. Check this out. He said that if he left his son $11, it's because he miscalculated. That's $1. Yo.
Damn.
$1.
To leave him nothing at all.
If he left him $1, it's because he miscalculated. His son must be the worst.
A piece of work.
But one of the things I recognized, I was having a conversation with Courtney yesterday. We were talking about this book we both read. It's a book called Rolfs for the Riches. But part of our conversation we were talking about is how we're behind as a people, right? So we're just behind. We are in terms of this whole idea of building wealth. So a lot of us in our generation, our first generation, quote unquote, getting it out the mud, or second generation, you may have parents. Some of us are lucky enough to be third, but for the most part, a lot of us are first. But what I see happening, just being involved in the business so long is, that's not making it to the next generation. And it's definitely not making it to the third. And a lot of times it's because we are so far behind. We're just figuring out how to get to the dollar, right? A lot of us are just figuring out how to get into these asset classes, how to play these games. The next step is, how do you take what you've accumulated and make sure it goes to the next generation? That's where we are falling short.
Not just the next generation, the third generation. Because I was reading something that says 90% of all wealth is lost by the third generation.
Yeah, but that's the stat. But I'm talking about in our community specifically, it's not getting from 1 to 2. Forget the 3. We got to get to 2 first. We get to 3. We're missing out on that. A lot of us are, and it's our old thing, stop losing Granny's house, right? As we say it jokingly, but it's something real to that because we're missing. It's a key ingredient that we're missing. And a lot of times we're missing this because
it's paperwork.
It's literally paperwork. We are falling short when it comes to paperwork. And as it pertains to like social media, to be honest, let's be completely transparent right here, right? Even with this video here, as we're talking, this ain't sexy stuff to talk about, right? If I'm on IG and I'm like talking about wealth, it's not sexy to talk about, make sure your paperwork is straight. But this is where we're falling short. The fact of the matter is people need to start talking about that.
Paperwork gangsters. Listen, I already told you the biggest gangsters in the world don't got guns. They got pens, dog. Paperwork gangsters is the ugliest, roughest, toughest mother scunners in the world. Paperwork gangsters will wreck your life.
Listen,
wreck your life. Paperwork gangsters are the heaviest. Listen, how would you say documentation beats conversation 100% of the time?
Yeah, man. I sat in the room the other day.
Documentation beats conversation 100% of the time.
I sat in the room the other day with one of the biggest black developers in Philadelphia. And this brother told me something. He said, listen, he said, a lot of the funding that is missing from our community that we don't get is literally because of a lack of us doing paperwork the right way or having paperwork, right? He said it's millions of dollars that we miss out on.
And we don't qualify for minority grants because our businesses aren't set up as minority businesses.
Paperwork,
literal paperwork.
But it's all paperwork. So, I say that to say this, man, as we conclude the show, like, make sure your paperwork is straight. And that's on all levels. Like whether we're talking about your trust, your will, just in general, like this, we got to make sure we're doing a better job at paperwork. And I know that sounds boring. It's not sexy. It's not the sexy as us coming up here and having a crypto conversation or talking about the most recent coin that's, because we could do that. But I think it's important to have this conversation about, make sure your paperwork is straight.
This is actually more important.
Yeah. And make sure your folks' paperwork is straight. You know what I'm saying? Julio, like Miss Rosebud, grandma house, listen, man, shout out to Jamisa. Shout out to Jamisa. Jamisa is doing amazing work out there, and her grandma set her off to where she is now. You know what I'm saying? And by the way, speaking of Jamisa is going to be speaking at the event on October the 30th in Delaware, right? The Investment Blueprint Monopoly. And Corey and I will also be in the building. We're going to be speaking out there too. So shout out to Jamisa. We're going to share the stage on October the 30th. It should be amazing. So we still trying to decide like whether we just going to do a quick talk or we're going to like have a class, but we're going to do something. We might do some DeFi banking out there. We're not sure yet, but it's in Delaware, October the 30th. And as a matter of fact, speaking of that, the brothers who throwing the event are on our most recent podcast, Lorenzo, A. Lee. So definitely make sure you check out our most recent podcast because that podcast is powerful, man, as they explain the whole event. Yeah, the whole event. Yeah, and if you go to the link in our bio, by the way, you'll see that's where you can get tickets for the event. But it's going to be a fire event. So they're there. Malik is speaking too. Malik will be there speaking. It's so many folks out there speaking, bro. Like half of the folks that are speaking have like actually been on our podcast. So that's going to be dope, man. So we got that coming up October the 30th. It's in Delaware if you can. But man, Corey, you got anything you want to say, man? Because I just want to say, man, make sure we working on this paperwork, man.
Yeah, like I said what I wanted to say. Paperwork gangsters will put you out your misery. Like you think why, you know what I mean? Like you think these gangsters out here with these guns is doing something. Man, listen, Congress the biggest gangsters in the world, and they doing it with pens and pencils. They out here, you know what I mean, shuffling paperwork around and ruining and enhancing some lives and ruining the others with paper. They slide paperwork around.
Straight paperwork
around, man. They not even out here with no guns or nothing. Sliding paperwork around, controlling people's whole livelihoods, man. You know what I mean? Like vaccine mandates, all they are is paperwork. They literally just sliding paperwork around. Not saying that, whether it's right or wrong. However, you know what I mean? That's just paperwork. It's literal paperwork. They're sliding paperwork around. So, you know what I mean? Like, you got to be very, very careful with the paperwork gangster stuff. You know what I mean? Like, gangsters don't really carry guns, man. Those people work for gangsters.
Yeah, man. So, Ken says so true about the paperwork. My church wanted to start a business directory and include the entrepreneurs at our church. This project took about 4 years because most of the entrepreneurs didn't have their paperwork straight. Some of these businesses have been around for a number of years. We learned that during COVID, right? Some people couldn't qualify for the money that the government was giving away because they didn't have their companies like registered as companies.
Business wasn't structured properly.
Yeah, man. Julio, shout out to EYL. Did she shout out to EYL? Yo, funny thing is, Jamil hit me last night. I didn't even tell Corey this. They want us to come back and do, another thing at EYLU. So we might get back there again. We working that out. We got our October is done for, but
yeah,
we're gonna try to make it back to hey Kev, come on, man. Hey Kev, I want to know. Listen, I'm associating you with Maxie now because you love Maxie so much, though.
I ain't gonna lie, I love young boy too.
Oh, I think he's dope. I just feel like right now where he's at, he needs to be coming off the bench. He's not a starter right yet. Now, hopefully he can develop, but I think him, and me and Dev talked about this last night. Him coming off the bench makes them a strong team. We should have full-blown talk on paperwork needed to protect wealth accumulation. Jose, absolutely, and that's kind of what I'm talking about, man. Church entrepreneurs are crabs in a barrel.
Those opinions are
Kevin D. Lang. You won't get me on here talking about nobody's religion and nobody's church.
All right, listen. Here's what I want to say.
Business.
We want to get out of here. Listen,
I'm going to say this though. I've had dealings in association with churches that have done amazing things in communities. I've also had dealings with churches that have done less than amazing things in those communities, and those communities suffer the hardest.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's some pastors out here that do crazy work. That there's pastors out here that's on the front line. So I'd be remiss not to give them the credit.
I'm not going to condemn the whole of them.
Yeah. So Latoya says, I think the common theme with a lot of these things is greed. Listen, that and greed and emotions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Adrian says, "Hey, my bun top, she got too many Reggie cards." Listen,
I am. I still.
To me, that's a long play, Adrian. That's a long play. You tuck them away and come back in a couple of years.
Yeah, put them in the tuck.
Here's what I want to say. I want to say a couple things real fast, right before we get out of here. Our most recent podcast with Lorenzo and A. Lee. Make sure you check that out because that is a dope podcast. We got the event on the 30th. I want to put that out there for one. Also, next thing I want to talk about is the sister from Minky Blue, who was on our show.
Oh,
remember her?
She's dope.
All right. Listen, she was on it was USA last night. She was on one of those entrepreneur pitch contests, and she won. She won the show.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she did because her product is super damn dope.
She won. She actually won the show. It was like a what's it called? It's called Shop America's Big Deal or something like that. So she won that. She's been on our podcast. She's dope.
She already in Macy's.
Yeah. So shout out to her for that. Last thing I want to say is our upcoming episode is with a sister named Nigel Roberts, who's from the West Coast. And she has a brick and mortar crypto facility. She's doing all kinds of crazy work that we're going to talk about. She actually is also, I think she has some sort of corporate executive board title with the what's the brother's name that created the wallet? The black dude that created the wallet.
Hill Harper.
Hill Harper. She's on the board of that company too. But outside of that, her community work is second to none. And she's in the hood in LA. Like literally moved back in the hood to service her people. So that's our next episode coming up this Wednesday. Her name is Nigel Roberts. You can look up her work. She's part of Black Bitcoin Billionaires. And shout out to all of them because they were featured in Time Magazine. Shout out to my man Bitcoin Zay, Justin, the Bitcoin Vegan. All of them had a great write-up in Time Magazine, which was dope. But she's on the next episode of our podcast too, so I want to bring that up. So that comes out this upcoming Wednesday. Also, Sunday, be on the lookout for the Black Wealth Project. We got some amazing announcements coming up soon about the Black Wealth Project. We're doing all kinds of stuff behind the scenes, but everything's moving along, man. I just want to say, listen, I appreciate all you guys for everything you do. But if you are in the area on the 30th, come out because it's not going to be the same event as last time, and we're not doing the same teaching that we did last time. We about to bring out all kinds of new stuff. Let me get through these comments before we get out of here. Let's see what Jose has to say. The Harlem bought a bunch of real estate and sold to developers. Now they have a line out the door of 6. Oh, that's nasty work. Yeah,
that's dumb. Nasty.
Have you reached out to Black Girl Stocks? Yo, I didn't. Jamil, do me a favor again. And I apologize. You just say this to me. Inbox me all these names again because I want to make sure I definitely do that. I know Eli's been going crazy. I did send Eli a message. I'm gonna follow up with him too. Jamie Dimon coming for Bitcoin. Listen, Jamie Dimon, right? You got to watch what he says because depending upon when you talk to him, he says something different out of his mouth. But here's the thing you got to understand about big bankers coming after Bitcoin. It kind of makes sense, right? If I have a system where I made billions and billions of money, as the owner of the Nets once said, billions and billions of money. If I have a system where I made billions and billions of dollars, and you tell me there's this other system coming up, right, that can kind of revolutionize that system.
It doesn't have an owner.
I don't want anything to do with that, right? If it's like if I'm the creator of Betamax and you tell me no, we all gonna run with VHS, I'm gonna tell you that VHS is trash and Betamax is that work. So it doesn't shock me at all, and I'm okay with it. The more he does that, the more I buy. So shout out to Jamie Dimon though. Anyway, man, listen, for you folks out there, we appreciate the support as always. This Sunday, 12 noon, live class in Body Hill University. For those that are behind the wall of Body Hill University, for those that aren't a part of Body Hill University, What are you waiting for?
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing.
Here's the thing.
Life look like?
So in order to get, let's explain this real fast. In order to get behind By the Hood University, so we have several tiers of our business, right? And it all depends upon where you're at in your life. And I'll explain this real fast when we get out of here. To get in By the Hood University, all you have to do is get a course, right? And you get one of our courses, which is either our stock course, precious metals, crypto, whatever the course you get, it gets you in By the Hood University. For the folks that want to take it a step further, we have MDC Strategy. That's our private group. We talk to you every day in Discord and yada, yada, yada. So that's the second level. And then we got a third level for the folks that are looking to do this full time. That's our DCG partnership. That's for the folks that are looking to like do this full time and just like not do anything else. So we have different levels, but the fact of the matter is, if you're in By the Hood University, which is the lowest tier of what we have, you still get access to our Sunday class. We do a class every Sunday at noon. Myself, Corey, and 4 of our brothers, and we talk about everything. Most of the time it's options, but if you have any questions about DeFi or anything, we there. You know what I'm saying? Jamal says, I can't wait for the 30th. We need y'all for part 2 of EYL before then. Trying to see if I can make it work, Jamal. We got a lot of ish going on. Man. Like there's a lot of stuff that we do there that really isn't televised because it's not meant to be televised. Like we have a couple of student programs that we actually just give our time. We don't even get paid for it. We have one program that we do literally every other Saturday for a school district in Baltimore somewhere? Maryland, somewhere down there. So we have a lot of stuff that we do. So I have to just figure out the timing of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we really be out here.
Yeah, man. It's to the point now. Me and Corey talking there. We got to cut some of the stuff out because it's getting ridiculous right now. And Latoya, thank you so much, sis, for saying that. The stock course and Sunday sessions, everything. Thank you so much. That's what it's really about. And Jamil, shout out to Jamil, you know what I'm saying? I see greatness in you too, good brother, you know what I'm saying? Like shout out to Les Brown, you know what I mean? My oldest daughter is heavy into stocks right now. She is the kind of person that masters whatever she undertakes. I want to send her something from you. Okay, listen, Kev, you know, family, whatever. Yeah, it is what it is. That's a blessing, no doubt, Cookie. Listen, so anyway, man, thank you so much, Cookie. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We will be back here next week. We didn't have no giveaways this week because we just gotta, get out of here. But maybe next week we'll give something away, Corey. Let's see.
Yeah, we can definitely give something away.
For those on the 30th, definitely come out. We're giving away all kinds of stuff on the 30th. It's about to go down on the 30th. I'm telling you, man. On the 30th, it's about to go banoodles. When is that ETF coming? I want to do something. Lou, last thing I want to bring up because I love talking to y'all. I'm trying to say something. I want to figure out if we could do a community ETF. I'm trying to figure out a way to have bring the whole community together. To have people talk about why they want to add specific things.
So what I'll do is maybe we can take $25 a week from By the Hood and let our community pick a stock.
Well, no. Here's what I'm saying. Right. What I was thinking of is have some sort of Zoom or something because we got people all over the world. Have a Zoom, and we got to figure out a way to do it. But let's make our own fun. We'll say like 10, 15 companies, but have some sort of voting measures where the community is coming together. Everybody pitches
to vote on which 15 companies we buy.
Yeah.
I'll let y'all vote.
I'm thinking out loud. I don't know how you can actually.
We already set up for that. So all we got to do is let them pick the companies and put the money in there.
Yeah, I'm thinking about something like that because I want to see what the community can do. Like not us, not me and you, because I'll just go buy MGK and be happy. But I want to see what the community could do in terms of putting together a solid. And we have to come up with some groundwork. Like, okay, so it can't be ETFs. It has to be an individual company. Or whatever the groundwork is. But I think something like that would be dope to have everybody come together because it also could be a learning experience because let's just say for argument's sake that Kev says I want to pick, and this is just not investment advice, just throwing something out there, Exxon. All right, so why do you want to pick Exxon? I want to pick Exxon because of this. Okay, now we got 50, 60 people on this call. What do y'all think about Exxon? Who doesn't like Exxon and why don't you like Exxon? So then we can
we can throw some ideas around.
That's more of a learning experience, but also we can come together with a comprehensive 10 to 15 companies and then set up an M1 pie and just let it ride. But I think that'd be a dope idea. I'm thinking out loud. Everybody that's watching this is like, what the hell are you talking about? I don't know if this will be it, but it's something I've been thinking about. So Luke, thank you for that question because it maybe bring that up. Peace, Kev. Peace. Latoya said she likes that idea. It'd be dope. Put a lot on several top 20 alts.
Waiting for that rocket ship to go pop.
Yes, sir. Listen, everybody, man. We appreciate you, love y'all, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. We got a lot of folks still here, man. That's dope. Y'all stay here the whole time. Appreciate you as always.
Love y'all to death.
Hit us up in the group,
love y'all
man.
to life.
Yeah, there you go. Say it the right way, man. You overstand me?